Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Revival of America podcast. This is Jenny. I'm the owner and the host of the Revival of America. Today we have Captain Kyle. He is back, everybody. So please feel free to start raising your hand if you have a question for Captain. I will unmute your mic at some point in this podcast. Or if you can't speak, write your question underneath this picture on the wall, and I will read those to Captain at some point as well in this podcast. Also, too, everybody, if you haven't heard it from me once or twice before, well, here you go. Be careful who you listen to, who you follow, and what you're putting into your mind, everybody, because it's going to get wild. It's already wild. We're seeing the bullshit narratives being spun out there. I mean, there's nothing that Trump can do right without these people trying to spin the narrative, a positive narrative, a positive thing that Trump did into a negative narrative. It is off the charts, everybody, and it's going to continue to get even more insane like that. So please, everybody, seriously be careful who you follow. If you just want to follow Trump, and I suggest people follow over there on X, Rapid Response 47, that's Trump and his team. Definitely do that. First and foremost, follow God. But if you're that confused, follow those two, Rapid Response 47 and Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is telling us, everybody, without directly telling us. I've been saying that for a long time, but he's even coming out a little bit more these days, being a little bit more direct and telling us. Obviously, you can't give your enemy the next move because we are in war, and he always has said that we will never give our enemy the next move or tell them what their next move is, right? So I can't tell you enough to tighten it up, everybody. It's crazy. If you were in the space with Alpha Warrior just a few minutes ago, it was fire. If you didn't listen to it, it's being uploaded now, and Alpha Warrior gives a lot of great insight to what we could be potentially seeing here in the next 6 to 7 weeks and moving forward. He just got back from a conference in Florida and got some great information from some people behind the scenes. So check that out. It will be on the wall here shortly, but please, everybody, be careful who you follow and what you're putting in your mind. Also, too, everybody, if you come into the podcast late, we are being listened to in over 100 countries. So we're making a lot of great positive noise. Follow the podcast hosts on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, Breaker, PocketCast, Podbean, Riverside, Amazon Music. Social medias are Jenny JERREAD Facebook, at Jenny_JERREAD X, at JJERREAD Rumble, at JJERREAD True Social, at JJERREAD Instagram, The Revival of America right here on X, or excuse me, X. I was just on X, sorry. Telegram, and then the Revival of America over on YouTube. I am out of timeout, so the shows are going back on over there, except for the ones that we talk about medical. So we're over the target, obviously, because they keep zapping me over there when I talk about medical. So John Baxter stuff won't be over there. Rick Anson from Brain IQ Health won't be there. Carrie Kasem, just because they're talking about the alternative healing that we're coming into, everybody. Also, too, check out the website, fill out the newsletter, the information for the newsletter. It is free. This way you can get the weekly show lineups with the guests, the times, where I'm going to have them. Because next week I'm starting video. The first one will be with Derek Johnson on Monday. So for those of my guests that would prefer to do video, we will be doing video through StreamYard, then uploading them, and then you know how that goes. So watch out for those. And that is the revivalofamerica.com. John Baxter has a page over there. Field McConnell, if you want his books, you guys can go check it out and check and see what's over there. And then last but certainly not least, everybody, if you have a story or a journey to tell, please reach out to me at troasubmissions@yahoo.com. Submit your story. We do vet them. If we believe it's a legitimate story, because we'll reach back out to you via email. We vet them, everybody, because we get some shysters out there just wanting to make up some lie of a story just to get on a podcast. So we're not doing that. We wanna showcase people's real stories, real voices, because it's your voices, your stories that are going to help shape this new world that we're coming into. And with that, without any further ado, as SGN on would say, in fact, he's going to be on next week too, everybody. Captain Kyle's in the house. How are you, Captain? It's been a long time.
Yes, I am doing well, and thanks for asking.
Of
All is good.
course. I mean, you've had a birthday, you had a marriage, you had a kid. No, I'm kidding. Oh my goodness. I don't
All
even
in
know
a
where
day's work.
to say it again.
All in a day's work.
I know, right? I don't even know where to start. There's so much going on. I was just telling the audience, this is my fourth show today, and just so many positive things going on. And I was talking to Alpha in our show just before you that, there's just so much noise going on out there, and these narratives of Trump doing so many positive things and how they're spinning him into such negative bullshit lies, right? So I don't know, Captain. I'm going to let you start wherever you want to start, and then we can take the questions from the audience, because I know many people have been, when's Captain coming back? When's Captain coming back? So here you are. He's back.
So, yeah, so it's all part of the plan, basically. Everything's that's going on is intentional to create division and create chaos, but also bring exposure to the agendas that individuals have, as well as organizations. And people have to see those things for themselves. They can't just be told, they have to see them. And so all of this allows for that to unfold so that people can experience and then witness those disclosures happening right before their eyes. And it's being done by the actual individual. Now, there are other individuals that are a part of the plan to create chaos intentionally. Um, and I'm not really going to go into that so much. And it's for exposure intentionally, so that people will begin to look at things that they never did before, and be able to begin to use discernment on trying to figure these things out on their own. And as they do, then that information becomes now theirs. And that process that has been taken away from people for so long, on just telling them what to think, telling them what to do, telling them where to go, and all of this actually begins to um, become redeveloped in a person's ways in which they operate on a daily basis. So instead of looking to an individual for answers, they look to people for data points, and then they look for answers on their own. And that's what's key, because so much is happening right now. The things that which you're seeing have already happened. They're just releasing them out into the public space in a manner so that people can begin to digest and take in, so that they can begin to process what's coming next. So it's all a part of a dissemination process of information and disclosure, all at the same time, preparing them for those things in which are coming. Because 26 is going to be off the hinges. And if people are not prepared for it, then they're going to have a very difficult time transitioning through this process that we are preparing people for right now, which is the financial system and collapsing, and with the basically the indictments and the corruption being exposed through all of these different entities and organizations and individuals, leading all the way into the banking system, insurance companies, mortgage companies, and the fraud that's been being perpetrated on the people their entire lives. And that is all a part of the process. You give them a little bit, they digest it. Then you take them a little bit further, they digest it. Take them a little bit further, you digest it. And then each time you can take people further, because now they have had that box kind of busted open. And that's the thing, is right now there's so much that's going to happen that is going to challenge your ideologies, as well as individuals that you thought were good that are necessarily not so good, and individuals that are downright freaking bad and evil. And then you've got guys that have been playing those roles of an individual that's not so good, and being that they were doing it on purpose for infiltration and exposure, and they actually are good. And this whole process is it's meant to take people into a place of being uncomfortable in so many different ways that it forces them to examine everything about not only their day-to-day life, but their families, their belief system, and everything. So this is a journey. It's an individual journey, but it's also a collective one on basically awakening, spirituality, and truth.
Amen. And everybody, we have said these same things for quite some time within these chats, podcasts, whatever it may be. When we say, you're watching a movie type deal. I mean, literally, like Captain just said, you can kind of like see it. They're letting the stuff come out scene by scene by scene. So, like again, Captain said, people can digest it. People keep saying, just rip the Band-Aid off. You can't just rip the Band-Aid off because people can't digest it now. How are they going to digest it if you rip the Band-Aid off? So, yeah, I agree with you. And we were talking about this in the last podcast with Alpha Warrior. So, I mean, we're spot on, everybody. We're giving you good information, but that's why I tell you, you got to be careful. Those other ones out there telling you different, telling you opposite, because man, they will have you just spinning your head. So just be careful, seriously, who you're following. Um, Captain, so I want my question, my last question to you, and then we'll go to the audience, because I know everybody's wanting to ask you some questions. But talk a little bit. I think it's brilliant, right? This 50-year mortgage. But again, you got a lot of people out there confused about it, scratching their heads about it. Obviously, the haters flipping the narrative and saying he's no better than Obama and all this other kind of stuff. So, what is your take on it? And maybe you can give. I know Josh Reed gave a great explanation of it last night on his podcast, everybody. But I would love to hear your take on it as well, and just kind of help walk the audience through what this could potentially be.
Everything is a setup, a sting operation, and a collapse of a system. Period. There will be no more mortgages. But if you take something and then you have a 30-year mortgage, that is considered to be a mortgage is called a death pledge. And basically you're taking a 30-year mortgage to a 50-year mortgage of a death pledge of, oh, I'm trying to make it to where it's available to everybody, but that's not even a reality. It is basically an exposure of a corrupt, fraudulent system that is being exposed. End of story. Anybody want to add to that? They can add to it, but that's its basis, period. It's not going to happen because the mortgage companies are going to go bye-bye with the banks and everything else.
Yeah, agreed. Collapse. I agree. So thank you for that, because there so many people out there trying to. It's just make it to keep it simple, right? And Captain's explanation was straight to the point. I've heard many, many different explanations of what people's opinion are, and it's just basically the collapsing, everybody. And we've heard this time and time again that it's coming. So what is this 50-year mortgage? So you guys can go further into it if you want to, but I would say just keep it simple, because there's too much going on out there that's very positive, and Trump's ahead of these people 100 steps plus. So I know it's a good thing. All right, Captain, we're gonna go into some questions.
So before we do that,
Go
so
ahead.
every part of the system is being attacked specifically when in very calculated manners. Okay. Just like with the shutdown, everybody thought, oh, the shutdown. No, the shutdown was intentional to eliminate a lot of the bureaucracy that's within the governmental system. But also, what it did is it allowed for access, unvetted access into absolutely everything. Didn't have to have permission. They could do whatever they wanted. And who was actually still a part of the operations within the public domain in the shutdown? Well, that was the financial and Doge. They were still being paid, they were still a part of it. Well, that was the idea, because you get out all of these individuals, close down all the buildings, close down all the people, get everybody out. Now you can come in and have basically just free reign in every system that's out there. Do whatever you want to. Nobody's there. Nobody's able to hide things, do stuff to create a defense system, causing you to have to circumvent ways around whatever they may have done. It's basically just an open door. And that's what they did. And not only that, but now you look at how do they expose the corruption, not only in the medical industry, but the insurance industry, which is nothing more than a fraud scam on the people, all of the people, meaning not just the people that are using the insurance, but it means the taxpayers and the monies that they've been able to basically fleece out of the system since the medical industry came into existence. You have to take these systems down piece by piece by piece, but show them to the public in a way that allows them to begin to start to take control of their own lives and break down the system in the back, so that when the correct the collapse actually takes place, then the individuals, the people, have a better understanding of why it should have been taken down a long time ago. And we're not talking about the few people that listen to these podcasts and stuff around the world, because in a sense of 5 or 6 billion people, only a few actually know or have any idea what's actually going on around the world. And this is happening simultaneously around the world. The corruption and the financial institutions and the criminal organizations are being taken down simultaneously around the world systematically, just like we've been going through Mexico. We've been going through Central America. Now we're going through South America, and the systems are being taken down. The corrupt and the cabal are being systematically taken down publicly now, so that the people can see for themselves and begin to participate in their own revolutions.
Amen. Thank you, Captain Kyle. And everybody, like I said, look at all the positives. There's a lot of stuff going on the wall right here with Kash Patel just announced a massive victory. You've got Senator John Fetterman turning on, his party. You've got Gavin Newsom's old executive. I don't know if she got caught for stealing or something, 225,000. So, oh, she was arrested. Excuse me, she was arrested. So a lot of great things are happening, everybody. So it says right here, Governor Gavin Newsom's ex chief of staff officially arrested, accused of stealing 225K. So, those people out there saying nothing is happening, yeah,
If
something's
nothing was
happening.
happening, if really we weren't doing the things in which we're saying, none of these individuals would be getting indictments or being even investigated. None of this would be happening. But if you look at how many individuals and how many organizations, full on police departments have been being arrested and taken down. I mean, not just like one or two police officers. I'm talking complete, the whole damn, the whole damn crew. And we're talking sheriffs and the troopers and all these people that are involved in this corruption are being taken down all around the country. You look at what's going on in Minnesota. First of all, you had the guy that was, shooting the politicians and stuff, basically, and he basically came out and said that he was doing those things basically for walls. And now you have this complete corruption scheme coming to light on Omar for like $225 million. And this would have never happened, would never saw the light of day if they weren't preparing the people step by step, taking these individuals down and systematically presenting them to the public in a manner in which they can digest, so that as it begins to accelerate, it won't be so overwhelming. It's like, picking at a sore. You can't just, like you said, rip the Band-Aid off. It's like the further you get down this path, the so much more information, instead of just one or two people being indicted, or now you have 10 people being indicted. Now you have 50 people being indicted. Like how many subpoenas that just got put out, 150 subpoenas. And you get all of these truthers that are out there, and they talk about like Cash Patel, and he's involved with all of these potential deep state players all around the world, and so on and so forth. Well, he's been positioned specifically in these operations for these individuals that were deep state assets that are now actually the go between for turning over state's evidence, and Cash is the individual that is the mediator for it. And so, yes, he's going to be in contact with this. He's going to be in contact with that person in that country. He's going to be in contact. And these are all bad, potentially bad actors. But the deal is that they flipped, and they're working with Cash Patel. And so if you look at it on face value, it would say, oh, why has he got all of these different contacts that he's, being presented with all of these different places, from LA to the Arabs? And it's specific, so that he is the one that the military is using as that mediator for them turning over and being a whistleblower and working with the White Hats on bringing down their corruption, their governments, and their systems that are within their countries and organizations, just like, Hollywood. And now we have the stuff, that went out about the NBA. We had the stuff that's now coming out about the corruption and the fraud for Major League Baseball. It's all been a fucking scam, all of it. But you have to present it piece by piece. You can't just blow up the whole NBA. You can't just blow up the whole Major League Baseball, but you can piece at a time until the whole thing brings the house of cards down.
And it's coming down.
And that's what
they
they're doing, is they're bringing all of these organizations down piece by piece by piece until it's going to begin to collapse. But it's bringing awareness to these issues in, like, certain people, they're just into sports. They don't give a shit about any politics or anything else. They don't pay attention to that. But as you begin to show those corruptions in the different sporting areas, now it becomes, well, I always figured it was kind of corrupt and probably a scam, whatever, but never did I have any idea it was this bad. Now it shows to these individuals it's just that bad, but it's not just that bad in NBA or Major League Football, or it's in everything. It's all been corrupt. It's all been controlled, and it's all been a damn scam. Every single bit of it. In Hollywood itself, everything that people have idolized, individuals and organizations, are all a part of the systems that are being systematically destabilized in the mind's eye of those individuals that perceive it as something that they're interested in. And in doing so, you're basically getting to all of the different people of across all these different spectrums, bringing them to the place that how do they all tie together? Oh, well, that has to do with like JP Morgan and the banking system. And that's where it all goes. And when all of this corruption finally brings everything down, it leads back to the trafficking. It leads back to the adrenochrome. It leads back to the financial banking systems being a part of every war that we've ever participated in, every country around the world, and how it's all been a manipulation of all of us continuously. And that's what finally brings the entirety of the house down, but it also shows the exposure of all that were a part of the corruption. Every bit of it, from senators to congressmen to prime ministers to the royals to your mayor, your city council, your police officers, all that are part of the participation are all fucking going down. All of them.
Let's go. Everybody be excited. I'm sitting here listening to Captain Kyle and all these shows I've done today. I'm at peace. Like, it's so exciting to see this all coming together. So stay positive, everybody. It's all great things happening. All right, everybody. Captain typically gives us 90 minutes of his time. So we're right about 30 minutes into it right now. So if you have a question for Captain, please feel free to raise your hand. Otherwise, write your question on the wall underneath this picture. And we're going to start taking some questions right now. So, Captain, we've got one right here from Debbie Lou. It says, would you please explain what 3I Atlas, so where'd that go? Okay, where'd it go? Sorry, is all about? Thank you and God bless.
So there's a lot of different variations of this story. One thing I heard today was that this has been an operation that's been ongoing for a long time, was planned to be something that the deep state used to bring on the potential blue beam and all of the, chaotic, false freaking invasion and blah, 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 because they had technologies as well that could not only see into the future, but also do a lot of different things, from the Montauk event where you can have, living, touch, feel holograms that are lifelike, and you can't tell the difference between real and not real. But not only that, they also had the ability to see into the future as well as into the past. They had the same type of situations with looking glass. So even if it's a interstellar object, they could have potentially looked forward to it and saw that this is an opportunity for us to use that as the gateway for us to come into a operation which we call 3i Atlas, which if you look at three, that's the third letter of the alphabet, which is a C, and then I, and then alpha or Atlas, which is CIA operation. So that also had a CIA operation that was based upon 3i Atlas when it came into our solar system. Whether they were manipulating it, whether they were a part of it, or that it was a interstellar object that was already heading this direction that they knew. Well, it could also have been that it is something that is being projected through holographic technology into that it's visual, and they're making it to be something that it is not. So for what I understand of it, all of those operations that were intentionally a part of the deep state and what their plans were for it, they're all captured. All of these things have all been captured. Now, whether they choose to allow parts of them to manifest for their desired outcomes that are going to be projected because of those, well, that's still a possibility, but I see that in a totally different way than what was intentional. Um, not only do we have our technology that people have no concept of really the abilities that we have technologically. I mean, we have technologies of plasma technology and quantum technology that uses plasma energy that is so far advanced with the AI systems that you don't need to be afraid of. Do not be fearful. That's the whole thing, is they want you to be fearful. And the whole idea behind the fear was to control you. That's the whole idea of why Hollywood has made every movie, every interaction with our potential contact being fearful, as a takeover, as a hostile event, which it's not, never was. They've been here long before we were ever here. They've been interacting with Atlanteans and Tigerians and people long before us, but they never wanted you to know that. It's all been the greatest secret and cover up, because this whole idea to keep you in fear and keep you in the dark was a way to control you and to control technology, to keep you sick, to keep you in a place that they were in complete dominant control. Well, that's all been lost. And the thing that most people don't understand is that back in the early 50s, they found under the oceans lots of technologies that they couldn't explain whatsoever at the time, but was then revealed to them, of who it was, what this was all about. And then NASA came into existence really to push everybody looking up and to keep people's focus outside of the oceans, because that's where a lot of their bases and a lot of their places that they had been for a long time, because of the vastness. 70% of the earth is covered in water, and it makes it difficult for us, with the technology that we had, to be able to look around and find anything. But if all of our focus would have been there, oh, by all means, everything would have been found. So they got everybody looking the other direction. It's on purpose. Not that it's not out there, but the vastness of space versus a finite space within the ocean floors, that's a totally different ballgame. So this is where everything kind of takes us to the events that are coming up, because open disclosure is coming next year. And where I feel like the first place that actual open contact, and I mean undeniable open contact, is going to happen, and there's going to be nobody that's going to be able to control it, and this is intentional, is in an area that doesn't have a history of military control over people. And it's spiritually a place that hasn't been affected in a negative manner. And I believe that it's going to be in Peru.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that, Captain. Question for you, since we're talking about the events and stuff to come, do you believe, because we know Trump is always several steps ahead of these evildoers, right? And he takes a lot of their weapons they were going to use on us and, weaponizes it against them. And we're seeing a lot of that. Do you believe or think, in your opinion, which I kind of think may be possible, that some of these quote unquote scare events, things that have been talked about coming up, potentially coming up, could possibly be thwarted in some regard?
Yes and no. Ones that were intentional to cause devastation and mass collapse, yes. But those that are going to be used in a controlled manner and even in a illusionary or illusory state. I mean, it's not necessarily what you is, but what you perceive or you see happen. The effect of what that needs to be will still happen because we still need to go into a place of a precipice as a whole, as a people, for complete change. If not, people will just go back to their old ways and nothing will ever really change. It's like, take an example of 9/11 and the perception of what happened on 9/11. Good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter who did what, none of that. I'm not talking about any of the facts. I'm just talking about the perception of what people believe they witnessed and how it profoundly changed people all around the world. They gave up freedoms, they did all kinds of things that they would have never done because of what took place that day. Brought people together, people put their differences aside, all kinds of stuff. But how long did that memory of what was imprinted on them that day, which most people all over the world can remember exactly where they were when they witnessed that first time event, whether it's on the TV or they saw the first building hit or they saw the plane hit the second building, whatever it was, when they first witnessed it, almost every person can remember exactly where they were and what they were doing. It made that much of an imprint on that individual.
Yep. So remember, everybody, it's that again, another reason why it's important to watch who you listen to and who you follow. All right,
But
Captain.
there's more to that. That's what I'm trying to get at. How long did that actually stay as a focus? 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, and it was became now a nuisance on what you had to tolerate with TSA. I'd take my damn shoes off, had to be did this, had to do that, blah 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 blah, and it was all a fucking hoax. But that's not the point. The point of it is how long did it take before people got back to a normality and didn't want to ever revisit that? People's met short term, their memory and what actually makes an impression that doesn't allow them to ever change again, even with something that great of what they witnessed, that horrific, still only lasted a few years. And most people, those that really were impacted, a little bit longer, but very few still are moved by it even today. So that's the kind of thing that has to actually happen to a degree that it is never forgotten. It is always within the forefront of humanity that this can never be allowed to happen again. A precipice, a going off the cliff, knowing that the end is inevitable, and something saved me from it. And it's not men, it's God. God is in control of this whole event. But it is that being up against that cliff edge, and that the end, you're looking at it, and something reels us back in from it. That will never be forgotten. That will never take us to that place of being that close to complete, utter destruction ever again. That's what we are headed into.
Thank you, Captain. All right, real quickly, I'm going to address this. Anarchy Germers. You're in the wrong channel. So I'm going to ban you. You don't get to come in here and disrespect my guests or my members. So I will be banning you for your dumb comment here. So, okay, Captain, here is another one. It talks about XRP, and it is from Cindy. It says, my question is confusion on XRP. Juan Savin a few weeks back in Nino's podcast couldn't stress enough that we'd get rid of our XRP and buy silver. He says when this collapse happens, the XRP goes away and people will be very upset. Down the line, when they get the XRP working as the worldwide currency exchange, we can purchase XRP then. He also said that people that haven't ever bought XRP will not need to worry. They missed the boat and making a little money before the collapse. Everyone will receive a decent amount of money put in their XRP account. I have 10K sitting in my XRP account, concerned about it just going poof. I don't take it out. I didn't take it out and buy silver. Can you give us your thoughts on this and clear it up? Any confusion? People that listen to this on Nino's channel are just as confused.
Well, if you go back and you listen, I've been friends with Juan for a long time, and I've talked to Juan for a long time. I can call him on the phone right now and talk to Juan. The deal with that is that XRP was never supposed to be a instrument for the public. It's a institutional asset, period.
That's
I've talked to him a lot in the past, and there were times when none of this crypto and the QFS and none of this, it's all bullshit, never gonna work, and the dollar's gonna reign forever supreme, and it was all bullshit. But that's what he had to say, and that's what he had to talk about because of the position that he's in and the things in the context in the world that he operates in. Period. A
agreed.
lot of, a lot of the stuff has to come from individuals that are not actually connected in that way on purpose. It's like Candace Owen. Can't stand the girl, but I know that she has a role to play, and I know she's being controlled specifically by the military. I don't care whether you like it or not. I can't stand to listen to her, but she has a purpose and a script that she's sticking to. Like it or not, doesn't matter. Well, other individuals, same thing. But when she exposed the dude of Macron's so-called wife not being wife, well, that allowed people all around the world to know that it was a fraud, and that basically it wasn't a she but a he, and the corruption of all of that. Well, it came from a so-called individual and not being exposed to the world. by the government, the military, or anything that had to do with a nation state. But the exposure happened anyway. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Certain things that have to be exposed can't come through official channels. They have to come through individuals and allow that to go down the path that it's going to go down for exposure until a time comes when corruption is being exposed by nation states against nation states, then that can be brought into the information as well, but not until we're not at a place where that's happening publicly. Privately, it is, but not publicly. So individuals are being used to set people in specific directions as it so-called goes. XRP, if you sell your XRP, you're a fucking retard. Just plain to tell you that right now. Just like I told Juan that he was full of shit when he was telling me that the QFS didn't exist and all that. When I knew specifically, point blank, it had been, because I had actually gotten documents from the internet of the systems, the servers, and all of that stuff that was out in I think it was Nevada, and I downloaded all of it. And then going back to it, it had all been scrubbed off the internet, every single bit of it. Well, I'd already had it. I posted about it stuff. So people tried to use my links. They didn't go anywhere. That was because it wasn't supposed to be out there, but for a short period of time in the public space, then be retracted. It's kind of like Trump says stuff, puts it out there. 10 minutes later, he's gone. It didn't actually happen, but it did happen. And it's for those that see, for those that hear, and get it. And it's not meant for everybody. It's not meant to just stay out there in the public space. But everything's done intentionally by calculation on purpose, just like when Trump released about the AI in med beds, right before he starts going after the fucking medical industry.
So, see right there, everybody, you gotta look at the person, like Juan. I mean, how he speaks, how he's on the go all the time. You know, he's somebody special in this movement, right? They
He
can't
is
tell you
very
everything.
well
So
connected.
you've
And he
got
is
to,
in places that he can talk about certain things.
right. Well,
And he
that's what I'm
has
trying
a
to say.
storyline that he
Yeah.
has to follow, period.
So you gotta common sense. He's not like Trump. He's not going to come out and tell you exactly. He'll be crypted. He'll be coded. So just again, don't get too upset about it. But I agree with Captain Kyle, and I've said it many times that he can't tell you everything. Juan is one of those people. And then back to Candace Owens. Same thing with her. Like I've never been a fan of hers. I've sat on the fence. Honestly, I sat on the fence about her and Charlie Kirk. I said it to my audience for a long time. I just didn't get that right feeling because they were all a part of the new WEF, the World Economic Forum coming up, right? So you got to kind of use your discernment, everybody, because um, how is Candace getting all of this information that you know? I mean, it's not normal, right? So
Let
it's
me
like
give
Captain
you a
says,
little bit.
she's
Let
playing
me
a
give
part like
Yeah, let me
everybody
give you
is.
a little bit more about the Candace and the Charlie Kirk thing. And from the very beginning, I said it was all bullshit. Not what you think you saw. And the deal with that is that that was a military operation.
Yep.
And military was overhead, drones were overhead. There were Mossad that were there on the ground. Things that have been a part of this completely scrubbed off the internet. And I mean, scrubbed off the internet as people are fucking looking at it. Go to it, go somewhere else, come right back to it, and it's gone. 404 error, not to be found. And the situation is that Erica was a part of a family that was a part of the secret society and that was very well connected, from her grandfather to her father and mother, which are part of both defense contractors, not only in the United States, but also in the Mossad. So if you don't think that that was not a honeypot operation and that she was part of that situation, and at 22, she had set up a foundation for children, and I can't even think of the state, the country right now.
Romania.
Yeah, that actually, that same organization was accused of basically
Trafficking.
trafficking kids. And so I've always said from the very beginning, nothing that evidentially, I mean, evidence that was presented to us in any circumstance at all was able to not be debunked. And if that's the case, why? Well, if they're trying to put information out there intentionally, I'm talking about Cash Patel and the FBI and the White Hats are forcing people to look at this and go, "This is bullshit. This is all bullshit." But yes, it's all bullshit. But why is it all bullshit? To cause you to actually not take things at face value, look deeper, and to know that they're not telling you the truth. But why are they not telling you the truth? Because there is a sting, there's a takedown that's actually happening, and they're giving you a cover story, which is not the story because of it being a major operation, a major military operation. Charlie was a part of it.
Amen. Yep,
End of story.
100%.
I'm not going to say anything else about it, but it will come out to be factual in the things in which I just said. 100%.
I agree with you, Captain. And then also too, if you could do some research on Candace Owen, everybody, you look into her husband, some nefarious ties there. So
He's
she
the CEO of UK, um, Turning Point of UK. He's the CEO. But not only is he the CEO, they're also connected to the royal line, royals. But I also found out that Candace and him are also connected to the um, Russian that's a part of the Russian Wealth Fund. He's like the number two dude in all of Russia under Putin that's been continuously posting Q stuff. They're
yes.
connected to him.
So this is why everybody do your own research. Don't just believe because we say it, but do your own research. It's out there. Thank you for that, Captain. Okay, I'm gonna go to some hands here real quickly. Got a lot of hands that were raised. Okay, Debbie, your mic is unmuted. Debbie Dunn, go ahead. Go ahead, Debbie. Debbie Dunn, your mic is unmuted. All right, Sandra, your mic is unmuted. Are you still here? Okay, Cal, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, two questions. One, what were the lights in the sky last night? And my second question is, you had mentioned before a long time ago that this financial thing will come before all the ugly comes. Is that still on the table like that?
Well, uh, so it's not necessarily going to come before all the ugly things, but it is going to come before. How do I say this? Excuse me. It's going to be the mechanism that helps us to process and go through the healing when we remove the financial burdens that everybody's struggling financially trying to get through. So the deepest disclosures, the worst of the worst parts of it all, on the disclosure parts of it, not necessarily the arrests and some of the takedowns and some of the precipice event situations. Um, that's all a part of the events that are going to take place. But the disclosure part of it, the real disclosure about how deep it goes, what is its real purpose, from the trafficking to the adrenochrome to um, all of that kind of really bad stuff, but also how you've all been manipulated in religion and all the doctrine that's been fed to you through basically your entire lives. That is going to be the latter. So the financial will happen before that. And it'll be the means to help us be able to facilitate healing going through that process. Because that's going to be a fundamentally shaking of people's belief systems across the board on who am I and what do I truly believe now, when all of that you thought was true was not.
Okay, and then what were the lights in the sky last night? Thank you.
I don't know. It could have been us and it could have been our friends. Either one. I mean, we have that technology, we've had it for a long time. I mean, so when Trump basically said that all of these orbs and all of the lights and all of the UAVs and all the stuff that we had been seeing, he was like, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Because they're fully aware of it. They were all operational on purpose. They were doing it openly in front of everybody, and they didn't care because it had intent for that very thing, to bring it out into the public space for them to do those things that they wanted to do publicly. Now everybody was trying to create fear in the politicians and some of the people within communities and stuff, all trying to freak out about it. But when people that are at the top are like, nah, ain't no big deal. It's okay. We got it. We know what's going on. That pretty much diffused all of the crazy talk that had been going on. So this is just the opposite of what you're seeing with how these governors are being forced down the road of the Western Alliance, the protocol that was being pushed by the deep state on the Podesta protocol, on breaking away from the United States, causing civil war and all this other crap, and trying to take the military along with them, because basically your flag officers were a part of the deep state. A lot of them were, and they were not a part of the regular military. And so that's why the military got brought in all at one time, all the flag officers around the world. And not only did they all get brought in, but the states have been being forced to continue down this protocol. But in doing so, you see the difference between when you see the lights and these UAVs and everything else, and then the head leadership, Trump, basically is no big deal. It's all right. The freaking out stopped, and everybody got more calm about it. Like, oh, well, they know something that we don't. It's probably ours, whatever. And you got all these governors, mayors, everything else calling the federal agents Nazis and everything else. Well, they're emboldening people to do more crazier and crazier things to cause more and more chaos. And if the headship leaders would basically do just the opposite of that, go into it as in a peaceful state, tell them, hey, man, they're doing their job. We're not going to be a part of that. We don't believe in it, whatever. But that's all. They're just doing their job, and stay out of their way. None of this would be going on, because this has happened in other administrations when it was a part of the deep state play, like Obama and Bush and Clinton, when they were doing basically deportations and things of that nature. Nobody cared. Even that they had them in the border in cages. Nobody cared. They only care because it's being incited to care.
Thank you, Captain. All right, so here I'm going to do kind of go back and forth between the wall and the questions here up front. This is from Marcia. It says, question, I live in a neighboring state that has casinos from north to south. In the end, do you believe casinos will be gone? Thank you, Captain, Kelly, and Jenny, for all your hard work.
No, but the corruption in them will, because they're meant to be just entertainment. And that's the difference between entertainment and being corruption. It's like when I first went on a party boat, this was a long time ago actually, where it would just go out into international waters here off Texas, and it was a gambling ship. And my wife wanted to go, so we went, and so whatever. And we went out there, and I was in the casino playing. I'd won a lot of money, and basically by the time the night was over with, she was out on the main back deck, and I remember going out the doors and I was laughing, and she was like thinking that I just like taken them for a bunch of money. I lost every freaking time. And this guy came and sat next to me. It was some Japanese guy. I remember it to this day. Just sat down, started playing, and I started betting way too big, doing stupid stuff like he was, and it was just like before long, I was freaking gave them all their money back and mine too. And but the deal is that I went outside, we talked, and so on and so forth, and she didn't understand why I was so happy because I'd lost all this money, right? Well, the deal was that I brought a specific amount of money to win or lose just for having fun. And that's what that was my intent, no matter what. And it was entertainment for my night. Whether it was $200 or whether it was $2,000, it doesn't matter. It's the money that I was intending to spend to go out, have fun, and walk away from it, no matter what, just having fun. And so, but whenever you get into where you've got the corruption and the manipulation of people, well, that's a different story. That will be is what's eliminated, to where it's just going to be based upon entertainment and to have fun, but not to get people in situations to where they spend way more money than they should, and where they are ended up, spending the farm thinking that they're going to win because they're being set up to clean them out. That manipulation and stuff what will be gone. The entertainment aspect of the casino, the food, the entertainment, the live shows, all that kind of stuff, all that's going to be a part of the experience. Golf courses and things of that nature. So, no, they're not going away in that aspect.
Thank you, Captain. All right, let's see. Let's go with Tom McWhorter. Your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tom. Your mic's unmuted. Okay, let's go on to
Hello?
Don.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you. Can you hear us? You might have to go out and come back in, Tom. Go ahead, Don. Your mic is unmuted.
All right, Captain. I know we're about in the middle of November, and hopefully for the people that are awake, that we'll see something before the 1st of January, because the 1st of January, supposedly, they're talking it would go back to the 13th month. But also, when I get on these platforms, 90% of these platforms are with women on there, and very few men, and very few of the youth. Well, as a veteran, I was out yesterday on Veterans Day, and mingling with the veterans and stuff. And when you start talking politics, the veterans are so programmed they don't even want to talk politics anymore. and you cannot wake them up. And I know Charlie Kirk's thing helped wake up a lot of the younger generation, and the older people, I know it's got to be a hand of God to wake them up. Because when I was out yesterday, I'll tell you, these veterans, they're so programmed that they are not going to wake up until they see the hand of God. And I know when I've been on some of the platforms and people still talking about the dead people and they show their faces on TV, and I says, people, you got to stop talking about the dead people as if they're alive. And as soon as I say that, and I know the white hats are listening, we don't see as much of that on TV. So I'm just hoping, and I know what your opinion is, but I hope before the 1st of January that the people that are awake, because the people asleep aren't going to know what's going on, but the people that's been with this for 10 years or better will see something before the 1st of January. I don't know what your thoughts is on it, but I gave you a little opinion what I've been doing. And for me to be an old person awake, my veteran friends, they are asleep.
And you're right. And there's not just your veteran friends, but also just people in general are still asleep in a lot of ways.
Mainly the
The
people, right? Mainly
yeah,
the older people.
so it's not about what you say to them, and it's not about what you present to them. It's the actual events that are coming that are going to wake them up. That you, it's not for us to worry about anymore as far as trying to wake up friends, family, all that kind of stuff. It's just to be a frequency base in their reality that is receptive to when they wake up. You're there as the lighthouse to help them make sense of what they're witnessing.
Right. I haven't tried to wake up in the
Amen.
last 9 months because of that situation. But when I go out, I try to get a
Don't,
vibe of what people
don't,
are thinking. So
don't do that. Or you just go out there and be friends, love friends, hand, whatever they're into, whatever they are responsive to, participate in, and just be there so that when the event takes place, then when those things happen and they become confused because they don't understand what's happening, that's your opportunity to say, hey, it's okay. This is what's really happening. And then at that point, they have been shaken to the point where it says, oh, now that makes sense now. It doesn't make sense until they get to that point though. So you're beating a dead horse. Don't even try. All you want to do is just be there in proximity to their life so that when it does actually happen, it's coming. That's whenever the opportunity will naturally open itself up to you. And when it does, only speak about the things that they want to know about. Don't take them further because then you'll cause cognitive dissonance and it's not supposed to be that.
I said I haven't done any of that in the last 9 months. I just go out there and see where their vibes are. But do you think the people that are awake right now, will we see something before the 1st of January? Because I'm worried about those people too. We're starting to lose some of our
Oh,
people that are
yeah.
supposed to be awake.
So it's already happening. I mean, things are already happening. I mean, yes, you're going to see a lot more stuff between now and January. A lot more. It's not going to stop. And the deal with that is that people get tired. And when you say we're losing people, nah, we're really not losing people. The deal is that they're just frustrated and they're tired. And you can't unsee or unknow the things that you know. You can deny it, but that's about it. And then when things happen, they're the first ones to actually come back on board and go, man, I knew that all along. And it's like, yeah, you're right. You did. That's okay. I love you anyway.
Good advice, Captain. Thank you. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Don. All right, let's see. Tom, go ahead. Try your mic again. Tom Warder. Are you there,
Can you
Tom?
hear? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Hi. I want to say hi to everybody, but I had a question. I wanted to get Captain's take on whether Baron Trump is actually Tesla.
No, he's not Tesla, but he is a time traveler.
So he's not Tesla. Okay. All right. So I just want to get your opinion on that one, because I was like, what? you know?
No, but he's a prodigy, and there's a lot more to Baron than anyone even has a clue. And I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag right now, but the deal is that he, with all of the genius of his father, Baron actually leaves him in the dust.
You're a tease, Captain. I'm not going to
Sure
let the cat out of the bag.
Not ready to come out until it is ready to come out. Sorry. But the thing is that go and you read about Baron and his travels.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. All right. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Tom. All right. MP, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead. Go ahead, MP. All right. Let's see. NAB, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much, Jenny and Captain Kyle. You guys are wonderful. Captain Kyle, I just wanted to run something by you. Earlier in the summer, I don't know, you might know of this. There's so much out there. Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Sala, and he had on about the three-eye atlas. He had on George, I don't want to butcher his last name, Cavalis or something. Pretty sure he's Australian. And he's pretty much on this. And he's been in the White House with Trump and Elon. That basically is good news about that. And there's actually 3 U.S. admirals on that. If you watch
No, I
the,
know all about that. I talked about it before.
oh, I must have missed it. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
Okay,
all good. But yeah,
okay.
it's just more data points to a story that until it gets fully revealed to the public, they are all just data points. And that I stick to just the data points on purpose until the story itself gets revealed. People need to use their own discernment and what they believe is actually what it's about. I don't tell people what to believe on purpose. I just give people information. Choose for
All
yourself what you
And
choose.
NAB,
right.
if you go back to the beginning of this podcast, you can listen to the replay. That's one of the first questions that was asked here to Captain Kyle. So he goes pretty in depth into that one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. Norma Reynolds, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I actually had 2 questions, but a previous caller asked one of them, but I would like to get a little clarity on it. And then I have another main question that since you've touched on, cataclysmic kind of things. Okay, precipice. Could you clarify whether or not we might see Nasara during this year?
I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. Um, and it's on purpose because the reason that no one really knows on purpose, and anybody that says they do, they're full of shit. Um, and they're only trying to get money out of you to either listen to their private stuff or member stuff. And I got a source in the freaking treasury and that bullshit. Because that's a part of national security, not only just for the United States, but for the world. And on when it's being released, how it's being released, and all that kind of stuff. So it could happen freaking tomorrow. Nobody knows, and it's on purpose.
Okay. All right. Thank you. My main question was, since you were talking about a precipice, there's predictions of like cataclysmic geographical changes that might affect our shorelines, such as in Florida, as well as the lands along the Mississippi River Basin. I have plans to return to the Space Coast of Florida after the RV, but now I am beginning to wonder how the possibility of this type geographical change might affect that decision. My main question is, since we're experiencing timeline jumps as well as a major shift collectively as we wind down 2025 and begin 2026, isn't it true that we might not be on that timeline and that experiences that destructive change?
So there's, all right, so you got two distinct timelines, okay,
Okay, yes.
in a multiverse of things, of dimensions. That's where it gets crazy. And but you have two distinct timelines. You have the old timeline of apocalypse and destruction, okay?
Okay, right.
But then you have the new timeline of ascension and the golden age of humanity and going forward. And those two splits are actually taking place and have been taking place for some time.
Right.
And we're about to enter into a blue light scenario. And in this blue light, it's going to be like where people have seen the northern lights and stuff, right? Well, this
All
is
right.
it's a gamma light. It's the highest light that's visible and whatever. And the way it's going to interact with our atmosphere as we pass into and through this blue high frequency light is going to be, it's going to make the skies blue. And it's going to change the human resonance to a higher baseline. And it's going to be a major upgrade for those that are more prepared to receive that higher frequency light.
Okay.
Those that are not are going to go just the opposite because it's going to be like a rejection of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the bad people that are bad, pissed off at the world, hate everything, whatever, then that's going to feel like to them like an attack on the way that they're going to receive things versus someone like yourself or me that's it's going to be, whoa, golly, all my junk DNA just got activated. My pineal gland got completely undecalcified, and this is a whole new ball game in which I'm starting to walk into and be in a new reality. Well, that is all by design. The old timeline and the old destruction is still going to happen, but are we going to necessarily witness it? I will not. So I
Okay.
don't worry about that. I still live on the coast here in Houston area in the Gulf. Even though on that destruction timeline, that ain't going to exist anymore, as well as what you're talking about. But in the new reality of where I'm going, then, and it's not a new place, it's a new frequency that already exists. I've been there. So I know that it exists. Been there many a times. And I don't ever want to come back when I go. And so that reality is so much different than the apocalyptic destruction timeline. In the world, the controllers of this world, the architects, the archons, are still trying to present that destruction, apocalyptic bullshit to all that will buy it and live in fear. And it's a reality, but it's just not one that you and I are going to witness. So don't have a bearing on what you're planning to do in your future based upon the destruction versus the ascension and the glory that comes with that.
I love that. Thank you. I love that explanation. Thank you, Captain Kyle. Okay, Matt, your mic is unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Hi, Jen.
Hello.
I I I've gone through quite an episode with.
We can't hear you, Matt. Did we lose you? You may have to go out and come back in, my friend. All right, Patriot Guy, go ahead while we wait for Matt to come back. Go ahead, Patriot Guy.
Hey, Captain. I had a question regarding the ascension, and if you could expand on it a little more. We're talking about entering into a new 5D realm of frequency. And without, I've always been very strong with my faith in Jesus Christ. And I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that are. And that we're all like thinking, we're not going to give up on Jesus, but ascension isn't necessarily us meeting Jesus, is it? Or
Yes,
can you not do that? I mean, I don't know.
yes
I
and
would
no.
like the whole concept of ascension
Yeah, well, let me
explained
explain to
a
you.
little more. You know
Yeah,
what I
let me
mean?
explain. All right. Well, Jesus said that I'm going to go and prepare a place for you, right?
Definitely.
This is the place in which creation, which he is the foundation of, the masculine of foundation of creation. Sophia was the feminine. That was the wisdom. Okay. So it was based upon those two in all of creation. Well, he said specifically that the kingdom of heaven is here, is already here. It's always been here. It's in you, it's all around you. You're looking for something that is out there, and it's not out there, it's in here. Christ
I
was
know.
the way shower. He tried to show people the way to their own enlightenment. He told his disciples these very things. And when he talked to the disciples and Mary, he spoke to them in a manner in which enlightened them, but also don't put any rules on those teachings in which I've given you, because if you do, all it does is takes people right back into those fundamentals of religion, because it's not about that. Christ did not come to create a church. He came to come against the church. Why? The church was a religious doctrine of control and manipulation of the people. He came to set people free of everything. All of the rules-based thinking that the church tried to implement upon him, he went against. He was a freaking rebel. And everybody wants to paint Jesus as like this individual that was like the perfect holier than thou, when he was not. He was not a person in which was violent or any of that, which I believe he was pretty violent whenever he went into his house of prayer and called them a den of um, thieves and vipers, and that they were money changers. And he turned over the tables. I don't think he walked in there and he did that look like a gentleman.
Oh, for sure.
But people don't make him out that way. What would Jesus do? Jesus would do this. And I'm not meaning like that. But the thing is that the church did that on purpose to neuter you of your power that he tried to give every single one of us. He told you that when you are the outside is like the inside's like the outside. These things in which I do, you will do greater. And that's the thing, is that people are just now starting to understand that it is the inside of where Christ is, where God is, and not externally. Everyone has always looked to the external, to the church, to the pastor, to the prophet, to the whatever. Instead of going, I look to my relationship with my father, just as he did. And how did he have that relationship with his father? He separated himself from the people on a regular basis. And are people doing that today? Are they spending that alone time where they are in a relationship with the creator of all things and understanding who they are? I am a child of the creator of all things. And I don't just talk, listen.
Thank
And
you,
I
Captain.
spend time doing those very things. And that's whenever you can begin to have the discernment that the Spirit has given all of us. Wants us all to exercise and to begin to nourish. Because that's how you find direction. That's where you begin to walk and you're guided. Where when Christ said, to the disciples, let's get in the boat, we're going to the other side. Then he lays down, goes to sleep. And then a storm comes and they're freaking out. Oh my God, we're going to die. Oh, we're going to die. And the deal is that you got the Son of Man, the one that's been doing these miracles right in front of your eyes. That's been the one that's basically been revealing to you that he is the one that's come to show you the way and that there's nothing to fear whatsoever. And you're overwhelmed by what you see versus what you know. He's in the boat with me. And if he's in the boat with me, nothing's going to happen. I should be able to lay down right there beside him and go to sleep just like him and be in complete peace. If you're not, then you're being moved to those things which are external versus those things which are internal. So, in the ascension, it is to be called up to a higher place, higher density, a higher realm, frequency. Two people in the Bible never saw death. Why? They got called up. Enoch and Elijah. And it
Thank you,
was
Cap.
funny that Enoch couldn't even have his teachings in the word because they were like, oh no, this is heresy. Can't have that in there. But it was so important to God in creation that he didn't see death, but what he had to say about it, you could you could know that. Nope, 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 that's too far. Because it completely opened the eyes of the people that those things in which they were saying were bullshit. They couldn't have it. Military health. I know.
I just want to make sure I don't. Okay. Thank you, Captain. Do you have time for two more questions?
I got time for one more.
Okay. All right. Matt, you came back. Let's see. Go ahead. Try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. I was just wondering what the captain, if he has any idea on med beds, when those might come to fruition.
So they're coming. They're already produced. They're already out there, and they're already being used by the military and specific individuals that are part of the plan. They can't be released to the public until the takedown of individuals that could use that technology to make it into something that is very bad. Because something that is that powerful also has the ability to completely destroy. That's why it's been so guarded. And so it's coming. But there's also, if you think about back in the day, they were churches weren't churches, they were healing centers. And basically all you did was go into them and just by being inside of them, the frequencies and the vibrations and the sound and everything else that had to part of those healing centers caused you to regress and age, and your body was in perfect harmony, and so on and so forth. That same technology is being implemented right now around the earth and in the earth. It's a part of the Golden Dome system that will actually create that harmony and frequency in our atmosphere all around us 24 hours a day. That's a little bit further down the road. It's being implemented right now as we speak. And that's a part of the 5D reality that we're going into. And basically, that golden dome is basically that. It is a golden dome around our entire existence, and a higher frequency and resonance where that uh, decay and loss does not coexist in that environment. That's where we're headed to. A part of
Okay.
that technology Elon's been developing, so, and working with the White Hats and our brothers and sisters for our reality. And it is in satellites that have been already put up and more that are being put up, and the technology that's under the ground within the tunnel systems as well, that is plasma based energy. And the reality of that is that the cover story for some of this technology that's coming is going to be to help with the sun and being able to kind of manipulate where the sun is actually uh, kind of going to be like weather manipulation, but in a good way, to where they could have been doing this a long time ago with weather manipulation instead of causing like major droughts in areas and then causing it to be like freaking raining its crap up butt off, or it's flooding out the rear in certain areas. They could have made it to where it's got balance all over the place, where you don't have any of this stuff for it, but there's no purpose in them doing it for balance. They always did it to create chaos, lack, and issues. Well, this is going to be a technology that's going to come onto the scene that Elon's been working on. It's going to be kind of like that weather manipulation. At first, people are going to go, I don't want it. But in reality, that's just a cover story. It's only a part of what it does. The other part of what it does is it creates that resonance of frequency and technology that envelops the entirety of our world, and it works from both underground and above ground and everything inside it. It's kind of like our own med bed, but for everybody all at the same time. And where I've said in the past, where we're going into the future, you don't need med beds anymore. Med beds are only going to be like the training wheels for us as we go into the future, because we will be able to heal ourselves and to um, be able to co-create. Not only do we co-create, but we also have um, the ability to manifest. And manifestation in that environment is almost immediate. And so the reason that it's so dangerous to have a person that has a bunch of regressed fears or unresolved issues coming into a 5D domain is that you can actually manifest that almost instantaneously, that would cause that to become a reality for everyone else. Where right now we have the same abilities of manifestation, but it's on a major delay system. So most of the time, even though people have the abilities for manifestation, because of the long-term delay that's in it, it doesn't normally operate because their focus changes, their idea changes, everything, blah, blah, whatever. They can't stay on it long enough to actually bring it into a manifestation of existence. Hence the delay. Well, in 5D and greater, there's almost no delay in the manifestation. So there you go. Med beds are coming, and also much greater technology that nobody's even aware of yet. But it's coming out, so you'll hear about it.
Thank you, Captain. And everybody, Captain, yes, he is back with this. So he's typically here every other Wednesday. So, Captain, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, unless something happens between now and then.
Okay. And would you prefer to do a video podcast or keep it like it is?
We'll talk about it the next week or so.
All right, sounds good. All right, everybody, watch for the replay. I'm going to upload it, and thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Captain Kyle. God bless you. Great show once again. I will get this uploaded and send it to you. And everybody, have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Captain.
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
God bless everybody.